Welcome to our San Francisco 49ers playoff preview report here at the Cow Palace here in Daly City. Professor with the former Super Bowl champion Dennis Brown on Niners Radio. The Niners getting ready to take on the Green Bay Packers, Lambeau Field for the NFC Divisional playoff for a trip for a berth to the NFC Championship game. That will be next Sunday. Niners hopefully they can get a W in Green Bay. According to the weather temperature, it's going to be around minus 13 degrees below zero at kickoff time Saturday night. But
Cold. And, I played, my last NFL football game was at Green Bay.
Right.
And it was cold. It was wet. It had snowed earlier that day. And the field was
nasty.
hard. It was hard and it was wet. It was weird because the field was soggy, but it was wet. It was hard. Okay? Mm-hmm. So when you hit the ground, you really kind of felt it. So yeah, that's going to be a big part of this football game. The elements, the weather, the history of Lambeau Field, the crowd. You talk about hostile crowds.
Lombardi.
So much history there. And then you play the Green Bay Packers, who has this offense. I think, Aaron Rodgers is going to be the MVP this year of the National Football League. You got some great weapons on the perimeter. You got a pretty decent defense. It's going to be a challenge. And last week, the 49ers answered the challenge against a high-powered offense. And it's going to be on his defensive line again. Can they get pressure on Aaron Rodgers and make him uncomfortable, make him make mistakes and throw the ball into some coverages?
Also, the key to be the ground attack. The Niners dominated the Cowboys in their win last week in that wild card game in Big D. And, the Niners going to have to, really, I think the running game is going to be, of course, Elijah Mitchell did not play in that game in the first meeting.
Right. Elijah Mitchell adds so much to this offense. What a fantastic rookie he has become out to be. A late round, 6th-round draft pick. He comes in. He's got, over 1,000 yards rushing. He's the heartbeat of this offense right now, and it's going to be important with him and Debo in the backfield to keep this defense off balance. And as we saw last week, if you can get ahead and hold on to a lead, it's huge. If you can come off with a fast start. And that's what they did against Dallas. You got to put pressure. You got to put pressure. And we saw it last week how important the pressure was. This defensive line has really come together. Even after Nick Bosa goes out the football game, Fred Warner goes out the football game.
And they're going to be back this week. So, and the good news this week, nobody on the injured report. So this is a good plus.
Yeah, and it's going to be good because, you got these little nagging injuries, and the cold kind of, makes those hurt just a little bit more, Professor. When you go out there and it's 0 degrees or 10 degrees, all those aches, they just kind of come out a little bit more. But, we see with Jimmy Garoppolo, we hear he is beat up. I think he's a guy, he's a gamer. I think he's a guy who showed last week, he can play in the big game. He's not afraid of the big stage or the bright lights.
Right.
So I think, if this offense can play good, clean football, and here's what's going to be. Special teams has to travel. We've seen against Seattle, we've seen against Dallas. At some point in the game, you got to make a big play on special teams. Special teams is going to let the team down a little bit.
I got to say, 25 years ago in that divisional playoff, when the former Heisman Trophy winner, Desmond Howard from Michigan, took that punt return for a touchdown. He literally, he nearly had another one for a touchdown later in that game.
Yeah.
He was the key. Of course, he went on to have the MVP of the Super Bowl, had that kickoff return for a touchdown, but he was the big X factor in the Packers' super run to the Super Bowl 25 years ago.
Yeah, that's what you need as a team, especially on the road in the playoffs. You have to have your special teams, but you have to have big explosive plays on special teams, and you can't give up big explosive plays on the other side of the ball. So special teams are super important. But like last week, it's going to be about this defensive front, Professor. It's going to be about if you can get pressure. Arden Key, can you get pressure? Eric Armstead, can you get pressure? DJ, can you get pressure? So that's what it's going to be. So it's going to be an exciting game. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. It's tomorrow. How about that?
Tomorrow.
It's tomorrow.
As we're doing this taping. And hey, if they come out with a W, we'll be right back here. Hopefully 1 week from today, previewing the NFC Championship.
Okay.
All right, I get you.
All right, man.
All right. That's Dennis Brown, former Super Bowl champion for your San Francisco 49ers, taking on the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field. 5:15 is the kickoff time. Catch it on KTVU Fox 2. Watch parties all around the Bay Area. Catch it, go on the news on Niners Radio or 49ers.com. Calling the game for Fox will be Joe Buck, Troy Aikman. Handling the sideline duties is Erin Andrews. Greg Papa, Tim Ryan on KNBR 680 104.5 on the Niners Radio Network. And catch NBC Sports Bay Area 49ers pregame live with Laura Britt, Dante the Hitman Whitner, Takeo Spikes, and Joe Staley right before kickoff. And then the 49ers postgame live will follow immediately following the game. 49ers pregame, that will be at 4 o'clock on NBC Sports Bay Area. For the latest news on 49ers playoff news and so much more, go to 49ers.com and the quick around the NFL playoffs divisional round. The early game will be Cincinnati at Tennessee. That's Saturday. Niners and the Packers. And then on Sunday, it will be the Chiefs and Bills, the rematch of last year's AFC Championship game. Then it's going to be the Rams and the Buccaneers. Rams-Buccaneers, the early game on NBC. The late game will be the Chiefs and the Bills, the rematch of last year's AFC Championship game on CBS. From the Cow Palace here in San Francisco, I'm Brian Professor B. Davis for Niners Radio. Niners Radio, the association with the Satellite Digital Media News Network, with your continued coverage of 49ers Playoff Central. 49ers football celebrating 75 years of faithful to the Bay.